Hey everybody, it's Byte me back at it again with another video. Welcome to episode 4 of Marketplace Game Pickups. So what I have for you today isn't quite a Marketplace game pickup at all, but I do think it's Marketplace game pickup level, so I do think that it kind of deserves its own episode. Now, everything I've done up to this point on this series has been PlayStation. This is the first Xbox game pickup that I have done. So if you guys want to see more of that, please put in the comment section below. I also have a special mystery console to show you guys, which I'm super excited to show you. Now, where I work in an IT department. We have a lot of waste technology that comes back, and we work with a recycler that takes all the old technology and recycles it for us. So that company, we just give them all of our stuff, and then they give us like a percentage of like the weight or something like that. I don't really know how it works, but every once in a while there'll be like some cool stuff that comes in, and we're allowed to take from said pile, you know, if we could find a use for it in our own home. For example, the tripod that I'm filming on currently, a Manfrotto tripod, really great sturdy tripod. I think when I looked it up, it was like a $100 tripod used, and it just showed up in the pile. And I asked if I could have it, and I was told, yeah, bring it home. As far as like all of these consoles and stuff and games I'm about to show you, this was all like, you know, a teacher had it in their room. Maybe they worked with like special needs kids or something like that. Some of these are from coworkers, so there's that. But sometimes some really cool stuff kind of comes through that pile. For example, the iPod Classic 6th Gen that I use in my car, I got out of that pile. I thought there would be something wrong with it. Turns out there was nothing wrong with it at all. Now, that is kind of the little gamble that you're going to play when you're grabbing from said recycling pile, because whatever you're grabbing could potentially not work. So you kind of have to go into it knowing that you might need to do some repairs, but that's not a super big deal because I'm always looking for like really weird junk to collect. One thing I do have off screen, which I'll show you real quick, is this Harman Kardon sound system, which was sold with like Apple Macintosh computers. I even have the sound sticks that go with it, so I have both left and right sides. These sound really good. Unfortunately, these are so old to the point now where they don't work with modern computers. There's no drivers to make these work, and a lot of the Reddit threads I was reading, a lot of people said that it wasn't possible to make these work. I'm still determined. I do think that I can make them work. Now, I followed a French guide which basically tells you how to modify this into an auxiliary input rather than USB. So you're basically converting it from a digital only to an analog. So you're bypassing the digital side of it, and I couldn't get it to work. He had like 2 different ways to do it, and I did it the easiest way, and I still couldn't get it to work. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is getting like a 3-channel like desktop amp or something like that, where I could just plug all 3 of these speakers in and just have a really sick sound setup. But yeah, that's in the future, but I brought that home just to mess with. Anyway, let's move on to what I got. So without further ado, I'm just gonna start digging in here. So whatever I pull out, you know, we're gonna talk about. So first and foremost, this is the first console we have. This is an Xbox 360 console. This is a later model. It has the HDMI port built into it rather than the earlier ones, which didn't. This is kind of a rough console, and there's noise in here, so I'll need to get that figured out, but it does work. Now, this came from a coworker of mine. I don't know why he was exactly getting rid of it. He already had some Xbox 360 consoles, so this might have been just a spare one that he wasn't using. But he did include some extras. So there was a 60 gig hard drive in here, and then there was also this little intercooler, which I found very interesting. So for those of you who don't know, the Xbox 360 was very prone to overheating. It's kind of the same fate that a lot of those earlier model PS3s are kind of facing, where they get so hot, the boards start to flex, things start to become desoldered, and it eventually keeps the consoles from working. The Xbox 360s, or especially the earlier model ones, are notorious for that. Chances are if you're seeing a cheap 360, it's just best to get like the newer models. But this is kind of a cool setup. I've seen different ones. This one actually takes the power from the power, like the actual power brick, and uses it for the fans. A lot of the other ones I've seen, they plug into the wall separately. So this is kind of really cool. So it just plugs right into the back of the console. Very easy, just like that. And you're pretty much ready to go. You got a nice airtight seal. You got extra ventilation, which is great. So that's probably why this console still works. So pretty neat. So we have another Xbox 360 console. Now, the funny thing about this console is this was actually brought in by one of our old technicians. I don't remember the exact story that the guy who had my job before told me, but basically I asked him about it. I was like, is this your Xbox 360? And he's like, actually, no. It's one of our technicians who doesn't work here anymore. So he's like, if you want it, you could take it. So I plugged it in, immediate red ring of death. Would not work at all. This is one of the earlier models. It doesn't have the HDMI port or Wi-Fi built into it, so that kind of blows. But I did the wrestle with the frame, got it all apart, and just applied some heat around the chips, and it seems to be working. And the last time I did test this, which was about a month ago, it was working still. So I don't know how much longer it has for this world, but it is a fully working Xbox 360 console, so might be able to put this up on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe I'll sell it because it's actually in pretty decent shape. Who knows? But might keep it. I don't know. I don't have any games though. I guess that's the other thing, is I don't have any of the games. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. So next up we have an original Xbox. I've actually never really seen one in person. I don't think I even knew anybody that had the original Xbox. These are really solid consoles. I still see them around to this day, and they're still working, no problem. The only thing is that I think it was like capacitors on the power supply will begin to leak and corrode. So this thing is a ticking time bomb. I do need to do it. I did take it apart and inspected it, and I didn't see anything leaking. Unfortunately, leaking capacitors is just something that happens to old devices after a long time. This one does work. The only issue is that the disk drive constantly gets jammed. I don't understand. Like, if I was to plug this console in right now and try to use it at all, the disk drive will be jammed. Now, there is a little pinhole that you can poke, and you can get the console to manually eject the drawer, but that's just annoying. I don't want to have to do that every time, but I do think I might hold on to this console just because it's kind of really cool. This actually showed up from one of our buildings, so and it was in working condition, which is pretty cool. Included with the Xbox, I also have two controllers. So I have the original giant Xbox controller. Like, I didn't realize how big these controllers were when they first came out. And then I also have the smaller version of the controller, which honestly I think it's kind of weird because, like, holding this controller versus this one, like, I honestly really like the feel of the bigger controller. I kind of miss having a bigger, meatier controller. The Xbox actually came with a lot of games, and they're in oddly good shape, which is weird. So let me just kind of go over what we have. So we have Sega GT 2002. It's like a racing game. I see this one a lot, which is really weird. ESPN College Hoops 2K5, NCAA 2K3, Madden 08, Trivial Pursuit Unhinged. I actually really like the Trivial Pursuit games. I play whatever the current one is on my PlayStation 4 with a friend of mine, and we have a lot of fun playing that game. X-Men Legends 2, Scalar, which kind of looked like an odd game. Project Gotham Racing 2, another racing game. You'll notice that a lot of these are pretty much like kid titles. They're not really adult rated. Lego Star Wars the video game, which, I thought it wasn't in there. The Sims, another great game, which is odd because that's a teen rated game, but whatever. We got the Sonic Mega Collection. This pretty much comes with all of the Sonic games from the Genesis, which is pretty cool. ESPN 2K5, X-Men Legends, Chessmaster. This one's a really cool one. I actually might hold on to this if I end up selling all of this, but it's the Halo 2 Limited Collector's Edition, which honestly is really cool. I honestly really like it. It is a really cool steelbook. It does have a dent here in the top, but all in all, it comes with the little cover. And I mean, it's pretty wild to think somebody paid $3 for this at some point. So, pretty cool. Superman Returns. And then here's a game that a lot of people have talked to, like everybody that has looked at my Xbox stuff at work has told me this game is amazing. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I think it's like a fighting game. I'm not entirely sure, but everybody talks about how great it is, so it must be good if that is the case. And then Dungeons and Dragons Heroes, which is kind of weird. It's like a role-playing game, which is an interesting title. It's a 4-player like role-playing game. Really, as far as everything else goes, I don't really have anything else. Most of this is just cables. So we got the, like, of course, the original Xbox cables, you know. And the last thing I have is a Sega Dreamcast. I have never seen one of these in person. I've never played one. I don't even know anybody who's had one as a kid growing up. And it's kind of funny because when I snatched this out of the pile, this came from the same coworker that the modded out Xbox came from. He was like, "Hey, dude, I put this Dreamcast in the recycling pile. You know, if you want it, you should go grab it." And I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm gonna go grab it." He did tell me that he thought it didn't read discs, so there's something with the reader in here. Unfortunately, it didn't come with any cables, didn't come with any games. So I don't really have a way to test this right now, but I do have a way to test this to see if it powers on. Like I said, it didn't come with any extra cables or controllers or anything like that. So I went to my local vintage stock and I bought a controller, and this is an actual Dreamcast controller, and then I bought this little aftermarket, just standard little composite set. Both of these costed me $50, but considering the console's new, if I can get it working for free without spending a ton of money on it, the consoles go for about $150. I guess one thing that we can do before I sign this video off is I want to plug this console in and see what it does. I can't test it, like I said, because I don't have any Dreamcast games. What's weird is they have the AV set, they have the controller, but they don't have any games. And talking with the employee, I guess it's not very common for like the controller, even the controllers, to come through, which is really weird. So, luckily they had some of these. I can't believe I paid $40 for this. It is absolutely filthy. It looks disgusting. It looks like they literally just kind of shrink wrapped it. Maybe they just kind of gently wiped it off and then put it in their whatever their shrink wrapping is. Because this cable is filthy. This is filthy. I mean, this is filthy anyway. I'm going to have to clean it, but it just, for $40, I would expect something that's been taken apart and cleaned. Because the other thing that I have a problem with is I just paid $40 for a controller, and I doubt that they had any way to test it. So even though I'm covered by return, if there's something wrong with it, by the time I get a game for it, there's not going to be enough time. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. Like I said, I might sell it. They're going for quite a bit online, so maybe I'll sell it and I could recoup some of my money. I mean, worst case scenario, I make $100 off of it. So I guess I'll plug in the controller. I doubt, like, I'm not going to be able to do anything, but all right. Got a light. There's a fan. Oh, there it goes. Hey, check that out. I guess I don't like forcing things in. Maybe that port just needs cleaned. Cool. Set date time. Welcome to the 21st century. I think today's, I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, bring this bad boy up to 2021. Hell yeah. Okay. I'm going to set the time. Wow, look at that. Music. disk is being checked. There's no disk, so file. What's in here? Oh, so this is for your memory card slots, which would be on this controller. Okay. Settings. Huh. Oh, it's got a... Hey, I got an idea. We could actually test this. See if the disk reader works. Because that could be a, might work. Ah, here we go. This disk is scratched to hell, but we'll see. This will be a good test for it. It's the Empire Strikes Back soundtrack. This will tell us if it's working or not. Okay. I'm gonna have to probably blank out the music. I don't think that one's gonna read. It's spinning. Is there like a... Oh, okay. There he goes. Ah! I see what's going on with it. There must be like a sensor, because watch. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, I can't play that because I'm going to get copyright struck. Okay, so if I push it down. Ha! Okay, so that's what's wrong with this thing. It thinks that the disk drive's open. So just hold it like that. My coworker is gonna be really happy to hear that it's not the laser in the reader. Wow, discovered that by accident. So we have a perfectly working Dreamcast here. So yeah, I just gotta figure out what's causing that issue, and maybe we'll probably do that in another video. Maybe I don't know. At some point, we'll do this in another video. Weird. I wonder why it's doing that. I'll have to take this apart and look at the mechanism on how it's doing that. That's cool. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.